Hi, welcome to another episode of Piecing It Together, the podcast where we take a look at a new movie and try to figure out what movies inspired it. And today on the show, we are live from Maya Cinemas to talk about Weapons, Zach Cregger's follow-up to Barbarian, which was a huge horror hit a couple of years back. And this one is looking to be the same. Everybody's talking about this movie right now, and we had a great time talking about it over there at Maya Cinemas. Joining me, we've got Celine Ochoa, Ernest Curcio, and William Moessinger, and we get into a lot of great puzzle pieces on this one, some really fun audience participation, great live show over there at Maya Cinemas. So that's coming up here in a second. Before we get to it, I do want to remind you, as always, to make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. So with that said, let's get into our conversation on Weapons. All right, I'm David Rosen, the host of the Piecing It Together podcast. We're going to get into Weapons, which, holy shit, we're going to have a lot to talk about. But before we do, I want to introduce my panel. This is the first time this has happened in a while. I've got 3 first-timers on the show. So this is pretty fun, pretty exciting. Always great to have new voices on the show. Starting off with Ernie here. Ernie, introduce yourself.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Ernest Curcio. Go by Ernest Curcio for acting, whatever it is. That's a great way to start. Actor in town, writer as well. That's about it.
Absolutely. Happy to have you here. Right on. Celine, up next.
Hi, everyone. I'm Celine Ochoa. I'm a local filmmaker. I mostly focus on costume design, but anything that'll get me on a set is usually what I like to do. I just love films all around, so...
Yeah, I mean, if you love movies and you love making movies, like anything is going to be the area that you want to be
exactly.
in. So, yeah, absolutely. Happy to have you here. Will, over there, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Will Moessinger, and I'm an actor.
There you go. Absolutely. Right to
and
the
a film
point.
lover. Why not?
There you go. Love it all. Love it all. So I think we all probably came into this as fans of Barbarian. Can we say that?
Yeah, Barbarian.
Yeah.
I just literally rewatched it like 2 nights ago.
Right on. So that was such just like an introduction, and like, I mean, obviously he had done TV, Zach Cregger, but like just such a like, holy shit, this guy's going to do some crazy stuff, but we'd only seen one thing really, and like what's going to happen next. And so that's kind of like going into this movie, that's what we were all super excited to see. And I think for the most part, it delivered. It's very similar in a lot of ways to what he was doing in Barbarian, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing until we get to movie 3 and it's the same thing again. But for now, I'm still 100% on board. But we'll get into a lot of thoughts about the movie along the way. But the main thing with Piecing It Together is talking about a movie through the lens of what movies might have inspired it, and we call those movies puzzle pieces. And I'm going to go with a kind of combine 2 things here for my first puzzle piece just to get this conversation started. I'm going to go with 2 Osgood Perkins films, Longlegs from a couple of years ago,
Nice.
and Gretel and Hansel from a few years before that, I believe 2020. This witch character, which, I mean, who knew we were getting a witch with this movie, but this witch character reminds me so much of what Alice Krige was doing in Gretel and Hansel, which she is phenomenal. One of my favorite performances of like the last, 5-10 years. So good, but also, what's her name? Alicia Witt in Longlegs. Also, just a really incredible, you just have no idea what's coming out of that person's mouth at any moment. And it's like, and they both are movies along with this one that kind of take things that we know about witches and the occult and things like that, but then add all this new backstory and all these like interesting ways of kind of taking that and making something new out of it. What did you guys think of the witchiness, for lack of a better word, of this story?
Well, first of all, none of it is really explained, and I like that.
Sure.
I like movies that don't explain,
Yeah.
a lot of things. So for me, that element of it, I think, worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like this level of mysticism that surrounds the entire film that kind of draws you along towards the story. It makes you feel there's the eeriness, and I did enjoy I don't think the witch reveal is like, it's not bad. It's not far out there. I think it works out, and it gives us a solution to what is going on? Why is this all happening? And I think it keeps it exciting and enticing enough.
I like also like we have an idea, but the characters have no idea at the end of this movie what the hell just happened. Like in the opening voiceover, which we heard twice, by the way. In the opening voiceover, the kid says that like all this was swept under the rug. The adults never talked about it again and all that because they don't know what the hell happened.
Exactly,
So like, what are they going to exactly say? You know?
Yeah,
So.
and then they can't really share their stories.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, nobody knows anything that happened.
Yeah.
So, interesting stuff when you get into all that kind of witchcraft and breathing kind of new life into things that have been done many times with witchcraft. But, Ernie, let's get one from you.
I was very hesitant when they brought the witch in to kind of sum up everything that was going on. The storytelling unraveling, the way that they brought the characters and introduced them and connected the story linear with everybody so we could see, the connected scenes and where they're going from the background was interesting because the mysticism that they're talking about, I was like, where's the story going to go? When they brought in a witch, I was like, oh no, you brought in the monster. But this actress, Amy Madigan, that played Gladys is how I believe it got pulled off. She's from Uncle Buck. That's Buck's wife, dude. I knew it the whole time. I was like, who is this lady, man? She's amazing. I know this lady. I think it was literally her performance is what I stayed with. I was like, okay, I could go with this.
Yeah, she's
she
incredible.
just turned it into when she was waving out there and they had the Pennywise thing and she was out in the woods waving away. I was like, no, she's gonna eat everybody now. And then when it came to her with it was the principal, really. I think he was the principal and his lover at home. That's when I was like, oh, this is going to be fun, man.
Yeah, now we're getting into some fun territory. Is it your first puzzle piece? Because Pennywise, that was very...
very Pennywise. Very Pennywise.
Yeah,
man.
And I think it fits, too, honestly. Like, I hadn't thought of
very
it,
much
but
so.
Since you're bringing up Pennywise, I mean, it really does go with her and all the red and, like...
Why is she getting kids? You know what I mean?
And kids,
So she's got to get she came here to get the parents first. That's why. She's like, if I got the parents, I'd get better.
Yeah,
I'd heal. But she brings in all these kids, the 17 kids, and it wasn't anything for Alex. She didn't care about Alex. It wasn't like trying to get over the bullies in her life. She just wanted something from these kids.
Yeah.
And it was just to weaponize them.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, right? To have all these extra weapons that she had there.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I couldn't figure out why, but I think that could be it.
It turns in that like AK-47 that they had in his dream.
Sure.
I was like, why is there a gun?
I think there's probably a lot of layers to that will kind of reveal themselves as we, continue to think about the movie and all that kind of stuff. Because I think there's a lot of thought into the whole weapon analogy of the whole thing. Obviously, it's in the title. They could have called this many other things, but that's a very important part of it. So
I feel like for one, well, when I first was watching it, I thought it was more so like they were kind of like her fountain of youth.
Yeah,
and she was giving me a lot of like vibes from
Gretel
like
and Hansel again.
Yeah,
exactly.
And even like Tangled in a sense, which is funny.
Okay,
because it was just kind of like
Love it.
Which I was thinking that because I was watching her and how she has to have like this, her hair's growing back and things like that, and you kind of see her developing more youthful but still being creepy. But then also like the scene where Julia Garner's character throws a frying pan. That just brought me back to Tangled.
Love
so
it.
yeah,
I love when we can get a puzzle piece that goes in a totally different direction like that.
All of mine are very out there. So
and I like that fairy tale aspect of this whole thing. Like that's I really loved Barbarian because it's just so audacious and crazy, but there's very little to it. Like it's just like a fun time at the movies, And this I think had a lot more going.
Yeah, like she even like cages Alex. Like Alex is like her center of youth, like in a sense. So like it was just fascinating. It has to do so much with like fairy tales, children play, and like just weaponizing kids.
Yeah,
so.
She just wants to be everybody's cool aunt.
Yes.
Maybe that's what her, MO is. Who knows?
I should call my crazy aunt on the ride home. But Will, let's go to one from you.
Since Ernie mentioned Pennywise and It, I guess I'll talk about the character that Gladys specifically reminded me of, which is the scary pale man from Lost Highway. Oh, wow. She just kind of looks like him, and like she's very enigmatic and mysterious like he is. He's kind of like evil incarnate in that movie, and she's also just kind of like evil incarnate in this movie. And one of the first like jump scares with her, specifically the one in Josh Brolin's Nightmare, reminded me of another Lynch movie, a famous jump scare from Inland Empire.
Yeah, sure.
So I would, that like they look exactly the same. But I'm gonna, for that reason, choose Lost Highway as my first puzzle piece, just in keeping with what, other cinematic characters she might be similar to.
I think so. And I bet Cregger, if we were to watch an interview, I bet he would say there's like so much Lynch in what he's trying to do with these movies.
He
So.
said Lynch is like really inspired his writing process and his creative process.
Right on. Well, I'm going to go. So speaking of Julia Garner's character and the way the whole town just absolutely believes that she is a witch, and is evil and is behind the disappearance of these kids. Have you guys seen The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen?
No.
It's a fantastic movie about a teacher who is accused of, a potential sexual crime. And it doesn't matter. I'm not going to spoil the movie. It doesn't matter whether he did it or not. It just matters that as soon as it's out there, the whole town rallies around. This person is a piece of shit. They're horrible. It's 100% true. And I mean, that is kind of what's going on here with Julia Garner. Mm-hmm. Everybody hates her. And, her ex or whatever, the love interest with the cop, that's the only thing, and that's even a character that whole relationship is doomed from the beginning anyway. So that whole idea of this person, there's simply no getting out of the accusations because everybody's chosen to believe it. And I was wondering from the beginning of this movie, and it didn't really go there, I was wondering if it was going to get into more of that, maybe the idea of people against their neighbors and
Sure.
the worst thing is other people. That's always a fun theme to get into with movies. I also was wondering if this was going to end up being some kind of COVID allegory or something like that at some point, which that also gives you the whole your neighbors are the scariest thing possible.
Well, I kind of have a theory about what I thought the movie was going to be about that it doesn't really go into, but can I just throw
it out there. Quick? Why not?
So because when the trailer first dropped and the premise was revealed, it's about 17 school children who all go missing. I saw a lot of people online say, oh, this is clearly an allegory for school shootings. And I always disagreed with that. Because to me, the interesting thing about the premise is that it's all 17 school children from one classroom under one teacher. And like you said, there's all of this paranoia and anger that's directed at her. And what that reminds me of is sort of this modern moral panics around quote unquote grooming in schools and the woke agenda or the LGBTQ agenda or whatever. And that's kind of what that reminded me of. And I was thinking about conspiracies, and I was thinking about bringing JFK as a piece because of that. But then it doesn't really. The movie doesn't really focus on that. It's not about that, but I think that I think it, there's probably a bunch of different ways to interpret about what it's about in regards to sort of modern issues. And like you said,
yeah. And I think if nothing else, I think it's probably baked in there as a red herring, where it's we're going to think about that. And then, oh no, there's a witch. There's something very, very,
the AK-47 too, just being that prominent too, it alludes to that, it makes that symbolic.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
Well, then they had his face, Alex's face pop up from the back, look a little like the Joker with the blue eyes and the red lips.
Sure.
But that's Gladys, as you find out later. He's got Gladys's makeup on.
Right.
But it was what does this kid have to do with all this? I know she's going to get the blame from it, but what's the kid get the blame for too?
Sure.
Yeah, the deflection was very powerful.
Yes.
They deflected you a lot. They put all of it on Justine, and then it brought Archer in.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, what's going on with Archer?
Each time you're just kind of wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Where am I?
Yeah.
Sure. Ernie, let's go to another one from you.
All right. All right. I can't really, I don't know which movie it is, but I can't get over the first part with the names and the scene collection. So I don't know what movie I to put it into. But that was, for me, it was the most interesting part about this horror movie was that it set it off kind of like in a drama, where it wasn't very, very gory at the very beginning. It wasn't very horror.
It does take a while to get
It takes a while, man. It takes a while to set it up. So And it was interesting. I was like, what's going on with Paul and Donna, and what's going on with this and that. So I don't have the exact film that it is, but anything that's storytelling that goes off and sets you into different POVs.
Yeah.
So you got all these different POVs that are
Pulp
connected
Fiction?
in.
Yeah,
Pulp
Pulp
Fiction.
Fiction.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wrote
That's
Pulp
exactly
Fiction
Pulp
down.
Fiction's perfect,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Pulp Fiction would be my piece.
Tag team right
OG
there,
Rashomon
absolutely.
too.
Perfect, dude.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, and it's an interesting way to structure a horror movie. Like it's not something you don't
Reservoir
usually
Dogs.
see.
That's what I think I was. When you said Pulp Fiction, yeah, it is the same thing.
Oh,
Yes.
sure, yeah.
It's Tarantino in general.
Tarantino.
Yeah. Let's go to another one over there, Celine.
Yes. I think this movie does a lot of like repeating symbols and cyclical.
Cyclical?
Thank
Cyclical.
you.
Yes,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
Cyclical. Things and motifs, and one of them that I noticed a lot was them going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, sure.
Which reminded me a lot of like Star Wars. Of like, I have a bad feeling about this, and it's just one of those moments where it's like if you catch on to it and you're just like, "What?" And it's kind of like the general like feeling that you have with this movie, where you're like, what the fuck? And then like something happens and it's either like really funny or you're getting like, this is creepy, this is jittery.
Yeah.
And it just kind of just moves. I don't know. This is why I enjoyed it, because I had a fun time. It moves the story forward, it propels things, and at the same time I get to laugh. Meanwhile, I'm like jumping out of my chair.
Sure, a little of both of all that.
Yeah.
But I was trying to think of one because there was something with literally "what the fuck" recently, like where that was like a repeated phrase throughout the entire movie. And I'm trying to remember what that was. I don't know. Maybe we'll think of it later. But Star Wars as a puzzle piece here, I'm all for it. So absolutely.
Yeah.
Will, let's go over to you.
Adding to the theme of multiple perspectives, I'm going to cheat a little bit because Cregger has mentioned it in the press junket. I don't know if I would have made this connection myself, but now that he's mentioned it, I see it, which is Magnolia, Paul Thomas
Yes.
Anderson, and which is another movie that sort of utilizes a sort of I don't know if it's non-linear, but it is multiple POVs and sort of an ensemble cast. But another like similarity that really strikes me between those two movies is that in this movie, when Alex, sort of the child character, finds out what's going on, he doesn't really know what to make of it, and he doesn't really know what to do with it, or really how to react because he's a child, and there's all this crazy stuff happening around him, and he's too young to even really make sense of, what's going on or what to do about it. Similarly, in Magnolia, there's a young boy who's one of the main characters, and he's also kind of thrust into this very chaotic and effed up situation and doesn't know how to really react to it. And I feel like for both of them, it's such a perfect metaphor for what it's like to kind of grow up in the world. And try to make sense of and know how to react to, this world that can be very scary and hostile to children. So I feel like there was definitely a parallel there.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to layer that much stuff into what's ostensibly a horror movie, but I think also to the Magnolia, like the mixture of some like magical realism elements with like stuff that's just what's more just plain than like a PTA meeting, or whatever. PTA.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh wow. There we go. So like just that mixture of tones and doing it really well. I mean, no one does it better than Paul Thomas Anderson, but they do a really good job here.
Yeah, I think like
Yeah,
even
they
the comparison between Paul the cop and even John C. Reilly's cop are very similar,
Totally,
like in character
yeah.
design for sure.
Yeah.
I think
Most
you're absolutely
definitely.
right.
Yeah, like the mustache and like even though like the way that they portray
They
or like, they act, yeah.
Kind of doofusy. Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to go for a deep cut that I have a feeling most people won't really know about it because it's a video game for my last one here. Have any of you guys ever heard of Limbo or Inside? Yeah? Some of the best
I think I've heard of
games of like the last like 20 years. They're 2D side scrollers. They're very, very atmospheric. They're like basically black and white. and everything is like in shadows. And there's this whole well, first of all, the image of the kid with the face and in the back of the classroom, that's like feels right out of those games. But then all of the little kids being kind of mind controlled, that is a big thing in those games too. And it turns into a whole puzzle thing where you're like kind of like you got to get them to walk onto things and whatnot. But it's a big puzzle platformer game, and it's very fun and very unique, and the story is really interesting. But a lot of the visuals reminded me so much of this, and I thought of this one like from the trailer, and I think that it's still, I feel like there's a lot here that, especially once we find out that the kids are going to become a big part of the action, I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely using this one on my list here. So definitely, if you ever play video games, it's obviously not the Call of Duties or any of that kind of stuff. It's one of these smaller indie games, but check it out if you haven't. It's these games are awesome. But one more from you, Ernest.
Oh boy, another one. So, I came in here expecting Children of the Corn, and that's not what it was at all.
I think
a little bit here and there, but
The story is very.
the kid, the story is just it's very rich. I'm gonna go back to Barbarian, and I don't know if can you do that with the same one?
Sure, why
Is that
not?
all right?
Yeah.
And my whole idea is like I have to go watch this one again, like I had to watch Barbarian again. And I did. I had an enjoyable time, a very enjoyable time. But Barbarian was like missing things. And then I did go watch it again. And I was like, I did miss a lot. I did miss a little bit here and there that I wasn't getting throughout it. So I guess I'll go with Lynch. You've already got Lost Highway and Inland Empire. I would go even crazier enough, Wild at Heart, because you got a lot of that extreme violence that's in this one as Wild at Heart. I don't know if Defoe and Gladys are the same. Defoe's character in Wild at Heart, but there is that eeriness and irkiness and just cringiness that's in there.
Yeah. What a wonderful movie. But I think you got a lot of interesting stuff in there. I mean, Children of the Corn, I mean, it's certainly in the DNA of like what kind of image they're putting forth with even just the marketing of the movie. Yeah. And then, I mean, there are a bunch of creepy kids that are, so like.
I mean, they really had their thing at the end. And in the basement and all that good stuff too, but it wasn't that driven by the children as
ended
as
up
it
going
was.
in different directions.
It was so it turned. It really did turn on me.
And to your including Barbarian, like that's the one thing I obviously have to see this again to kind of figure out where I land on it. But my big thing with Barbarian is that it was awesome, and doesn't really stick the landing. Whereas this I felt was the opposite. Like I liked the whole movie, but I thought the last hour was so much better than the first hour.
Man, that's crazy.
Interesting.
I feel like I just felt like the last 10 minutes were like, oh, that's why I gotta go watch it. Yes. Same with Barbarian. Yeah. Same exact feeling I had with Barbarian, because it was like, oh, here comes, what's his name? James Gunn, the guy from Jeepers Creepers. I was like, oh, here we go. And he was in here for like 2 seconds. I don't know how they're getting him. But I had the same feeling where I want to go watch this all over again, because I feel like, I don't want to give it away, but just like ending it the way that it was ended in this was just like, oh.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, let's go to one more for you, Celine.
I was stuck on the story's kind of Stephen King like.
Yeah.
I was like, the 217, like there's just like cyclical things there that you just reminded me of. But for some reason while I was watching it, and when I heard the bell, it brought me to Akira.
I wrote down Akira as one of my movies.
It brought me to Akira, and it brought me to just kind of how grotesque and like gruesome it kind of gets, and body horror like at the end.
Yeah.
And also just kind of like the play with kids and everything, and them chasing after like the central focus kind of being this one child, Alex, and then being reminiscent of Akira in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. So it's just one of those that I just couldn't help but think of it, and it reminded me so much of. Yeah, just all that.
Yeah, that's a really cool one. And by the way, I didn't watch it, but I was scrolling my Instagram and I saw like a clip of him talking about The Shining as like a major influence on this. So, I mean, obviously some Stephen King in there.
Yeah,
but
for
Can I
sure.
add one? I just got it.
Let's get it.
Lost. J.J. Abrams.
Lost. Yeah,
Like,
I
that's
actually have
what
never
this reminded
seen
me a lot
Lost,
of,
but I know like of the whole thing, everybody disappearing. So like,
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, that's what this really reminded me of.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Right
throw
on.
that out there.
Love it. One more over there. Well,
Yeah, I wrote down Akira too, because like as soon as sequence with Alex started, I was like, oh, is he like the one controlling all of this, or is he going to be like kind of he's causing all of this even though he doesn't really want to, or he can't control himself? And it made me think of Akira. But no, I was I think for me, so I was gonna pick Barbarian as my last one, so I wouldn't feel too self-conscious about that.
All right.
But and the reason I think is because I feel like it really is the only movie that I would feel comfortable like very directly comparing this movie to, because they're both so similar sort of tonally and structurally, in the sense that they're both horror comedies, but specifically like the way Cregger does horror and comedy is to kind of give you a sense of whiplash with how he kind of goes between them, which I think is why I was able to like kind of wrap my arms around this. But since you already chose Barbarian, I'm going to choose another movie that kind of, I think, can give you a sense of whiplash, and you'll watch it and you'll be like, where the hell is this thing going? What direction is this going in? Which is Beau's Afraid, the Ari Aster movie. Yeah. Another movie that I think is very unwieldy and tonally and structurally unwieldy. And as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate movies that are very unwieldy, and I have just a really hard time wrapping my arms around. Wieldly? I don't know. However you say that word.
Eddington is actually even better. Like, I love Eddington. It's so just so much movie just packed into that,
totally.
You know? Yeah, I really love what Ari Aster is doing at this point. But just to go back to Barbarian, Justin Long, shocked that he didn't get some gruesome death in this, right?
I know.
That, you know what's time? He's in there for a little bit.
I know.
You know what's also really funny is that one of the first parts of the movie where I was like, oh, this is kind of going to be a comedy, is when Julia Garner's character like pressures Alden Ehrenreich to like come back with her to her house or whatever, and I was like, damn, like she's kind of an asshole. And I was not expecting her to be this like selfish asshole, and she actually reminded me of Justin Long's character in Barbarian. So yeah, him showing up and not getting a lot of screen time was surprising, but
that's another thing that I was wondering if it was going to go in that direction. But I was wondering if like every adult was going to be an asshole, basically. But it didn't really go in that direction. But I kind of felt like that's where they were heading. But again, it's all these little things he peppers in to kind of throw you off the scent of the fact that we're getting to a witch. But I want to open it up to the floor, see if we have any puzzle pieces out here, and we do have some cool shirts to give away for anybody who has any. Anybody got something right back there?
Well, I thought about 3 of them, and I'll talk about them real quick. One of them was Hocus Pocus.
Okay, sure. More witches?
More witches. I mean, just the way that the kids came out, were lured out in the middle of the night, and then also the salt.
Yes, the salt.
Only the salt can protect thy victims from thy power. That, I thought about the witches, going back some years with Angelica Houston.
Great.
Like Gladys reminded me of her character when she like peels her skin off, and she's this old crone, old hag. Like,
she's so good.
Right? And then the last one, it's real subtle. When the homeless guy breaks into Alex's house, and you could quickly see Kindergarten Cop, like the DVD. Of that. So I thought about this. Archer looks up at the tower, like the big antenna, and then Julia Garner's having a thing with the cop, and like the teacher has, she falls in love with Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. And also, there was another thing that I was thinking of in that movie.
Well, you think of it.
I got it. It's the evil grandma that's in the movie, like toward the end.
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
Like, she's supposed to be like Gladys is the evil aunt.
I love it. I feel like if Zach Cregger hears this conversation, Kindergarten Cop's going to be his favorite puzzle piece for sure. That's wonderful. But yeah, all that witch stuff, all of it's great. Right here.
Yeah, I just got a handful real quick. So you had mentioned it, but I don't know if it was for performance or for plot, but you said Longlegs.
Yeah.
Totally Longlegs.
Yeah.
And then there's a new show on Netflix. It's called Adolescence, and it deals like with an event that happened at a school, and all the parents are super concerned. There's actually each of the episodes are all one takes. It's like a masterpiece.
I heard it's amazing.
Yeah.
I heard the
really
kid in
good,
it is like the best child actor
so they're
like of all
like
time.
hour-long episodes, and they're each a one take. Anyways, so lots of themes from that show. American Horror Story.
I was thinking about that too. It did feel like something that would unfold on American Horror Story.
I'll say specifically like seasons 1 and 3. Yeah, a lot of the imagery there. In season 4 with the clown.
Yeah.
And then the end sequence was totally Ferris Bueller with running through each of the houses.
Yeah.
Okay,
Hell
yeah.
That's
Yes.
hilarious.
I saw the glass breaking.
Totally.
Oh my god.
That's so funny.
With Pearl, the old lady from X.
Oh, sure.
That was-
Sure.
Another great creepy old lady. Creepy old ladies. That one of my biggest problems with movies is when we got, and I had to like kind of look off a little bit during some scenes. Like, yeah, that always kind of gets to me. But great collection of stuff there. What do you got right
A
there?
couple things. I think first I'll piggyback off his with the running through the houses. Raising Arizona,
Yes, that's a good
Okay.
one too. Hell yeah.
crashing and running through the place.
Uh huh.
But also initially when it had the first 3 characters, I thought of Go.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that movie since it came
Yeah,
out, like
so
the '98
very
or
good,
something.
But then all of a sudden there was more characters. Like, God, that went by the wayside.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, but different POVs from 3 different perspectives.
And that was a big thing in the '90s. I mean, we're talking about Tarantino, but there was all these other directors, and
It
then
was Doug Liman.
Doug Liman, right, yeah. That was definitely a big thing for these kind of multi-character stories where they all kind of meet up in the middle.
And then
So,
also, obviously, Get Out
Yeah.
yeah.
with the bell and the teacup.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Comedic relief too.
There
yeah.
you go. Yeah, there you go.
That whole mind control with the ding-a-ling-ling.
Yeah.
You know.
That's perfect. The monkey paw, absolutely. Right back there.
Yeah, I mean, they're learning about it in class, Parasite, and that's what, what I think that the witch lady is essentially, she comes in and that to me, I know, like, we're all like, there's so many barbarian tie-ins, but that's the thing about why society hates older women.
Yeah,
So much is
right.
like women tend to live longer than men, and then they become, somebody's going to take care of it, so they reach out to their family, and then they
Yeah.
become this scary old thing because people are afraid of aging.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I was gonna
they
say,
were
I think
into
she's
death.
beautiful, actually. So, don't know what everybody's. I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
Now, there's the other Pearl Jam's Jeremy.
What is it?
Pearl Jam's Jeremy.
Wow.
Oh, the Jeremy video.
Like the video / the song itself too, but even though the child didn't directly enact an act of violence against his class, I mean he did. Like he went and he took their name tags to give, and it was because of his. He wanted to have this relationship with his parents. Daddy didn't give attention, and mother just thought she didn't care.
Sure.
And so that to me, I was like, oh yeah, he wasn't directly responsible for the murder of his classmates, but
I love that.
he was there.
Yeah, because I mean, one way or another, he did the thing. I mean, she wouldn't have this power without him doing what he did. And so, yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And I'm surprised, we get all these, rock music movies. Like, I'm surprised we haven't gotten like a Jeremy movie at some point. I feel like that's something Hollywood would do, but there's probably other music videos I could see them doing. Anybody else have one before we wrap up? Right over here.
I'll go with Prisoners.
Yep.
Josh Brolin is very Hugh Jackman in prison.
Right. Just pissed off and wants answers and yeah.
Yeah, there was a TV show on Netflix called Brand New Cherry Flavor.
I heard of that. I never saw it.
Catherine Keener is in that one. Speaking of Get Out, and she plays a witch, and she does almost the exact same stuff.
Okay, cool.
And
I love
Day of
Catherine
the
Keener.
Dead because of the ending.
So so about that was one I was thinking about bringing up.
Wait, which one?
Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
This almost reminded me. This whole ending reminded me of we did all the fast zombies with Day of the Dead, or Dawn of the Dead, but the Night of the Living Dead once they're inside the house and all that, but with fast zombies from the Dawn of the Dead remake. It felt like we were kind of mishmashing of the Dead movies here, and then Day of the
When
Dead.
they're in the underground bunker.
Yep.
But, being pulled apart.
Yeah, absolutely. So we get a little bit of all that Romero of the Dead movie stuff. So
Yeah.
I like
Even
that.
the rule that you have to destroy the brain to kill them.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen Day, but I've heard it's so good.
Oh, it's great.
I've seen the first two.
And it's also speaking of John Hughes movies. Speaking of Ferris Bueller, it's got a lot of that vibe, but it's played for horror and comedy too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just watched Uncle Buck
Yeah, there you go. The Uncle Buck reference was fresh.
Illinois suburbs.
Yeah. Amazing. Love it. Well, let's start getting into some closing thoughts here. Ernie, anything you want to mention that we didn't quite get to here?
Can't wait to watch it again. And go ahead and because I did have that feeling. I don't want to bring it back, but yeah, with this filmmaker, just I think it's that two of us can only relate it to a film that they've made is credit to the filmmaker that they have a style.
Yeah,
and
right.
it is like. The same exact feeling with Barbarian, where it's like, oh, what just happened? They just flew off with this and that, and then there, but that's it. So, but when I watch it again, I was like, oh, I like it. It's tight. Everything is very tight. And then it goes off this thing, but it is this whiplash between comedy and horror that opens the field for it to be accepted. And this one, I was just, the same thing. I just want to go watch it again. I want to see it again because I just the narration. Storytelling, like we're gonna button it up with the beginning and the end of this child's narration was just not enough. It was like I want a little bit more answers on like what's gonna happen here, like and if it wasn't. I mean, they know now, obviously, like Brolin's character, and I mean they got a dead cop that's in that house, and they got to figure out why is this cop dead. So they're gonna question everything here. So the cops in town are gonna bring this. Everyone's gonna bring this up. But you can't just hide this under the rug. This has got to get solved.
None of them have any answers.
They have no answers, but they're gonna have to get down to something.
Nothing. They're not gonna know what the hell.
Alex, like what?
I know. And then Alex has got the stuff at home though. He's got the and I mean these are pretty brutal murders. I'm going like true crime. Like I put this on ID channel.
This is one of those subgenres of horror where like nobody's going to be okay when the credits roll. Like everybody's lives are done for, But Celine, how about you? Any closing thoughts?
Well, when I was watching the trailer originally, I was expecting more like Blair Witch vibes. With like the cameras and everything. Yeah.
That's what I was kind of hoping for. I was hoping for the Blair Witch ending.
And I actually was kind of pleasantly surprised with what I got. Because I thought it was fun and it was enjoyable. And like you said, he's creating a distinctive style for him.
For
and it makes me very excited to see what else he makes and what else he's putting out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so very, very pleasantly surprised. And I know if I watch it again, I'm going to enjoy it and new things are going to be revealed.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of Blair Witch, bonus puzzle piece, which Paranormal Activity was it where they go out the back door and there's all the people just standing there, like they're all under a spell?
Yeah.
That was a scary scene.
But
it was I think it was the third one, maybe third or fourth. I don't know. Okay. But that was the best of the series. Anyway, let's move on to closing thoughts.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, so when I first saw Barbarian, I liked it, but I didn't love it because I felt like it was two movies in one. It's really like three movies in one, and I just felt like they didn't work that well. But it's a movie that I've since gone back and watched a couple more times and like showed to people just because for that same reason. Like I ended up liking it more for the same reasons that I initially didn't like it as much, if that makes sense. And I think it was kind of the same thing with Weapons. Like I just, ended up really enjoying the ride and kind of the different directions it went in. And honestly, like I did really enjoy the first hour of it as much as the second hour, just because I was so invested in like what is going on and trying to figure it out. And then when you figure out what does happen, I don't think it really loses any of its magic. I think I was, based on kind of how Cregger has talked about it in interviews and stuff, I think I was expecting it because, he's talked about it representing like loss and all of these big subjects, and I think I was expecting something a little deeper, but I still really enjoyed it, and I think it's a fun time, and it gets the Will Messenger stamp of approval.
There you go. Right on that. That's what we want here. And I'll just say that that balance of comedy and horror, I mean, he really has something special going on. So again, we got to see what the third movie is going to be. Like if it's going to be the same kind of blueprint or not, but like as long as he keeps balancing that though, I mean, I can't wait to see whatever it happens to be. So Yeah, let's start getting into some plugs, and I want to get you two first because these guys actually are in a movie together that's filming in February, right?
Yes, right.
Jane Doe, right?
K.L. Martin's Jane Doe.
K.L. Martin,
Yeah.
friend of Piecing It Together. He's been on the show like a million times. You guys first tell us about Jane Doe a little bit, and then we'll get into your like individual plugs, and then we'll get to Celine stuff.
I never talked to KL, so I don't know how much we're supposed to say about it.
Just
I can
little,
say this: it's awesome.
Yeah, I
it's
bet.
an awesome.
Yes.
I don't know if he's distinctly genreing it a horror movie, but it's an awesome horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's good times in it, man.
The little bit he's told me about it, it sounds like it's going to be wild. And
It's wild, yeah, for sure.
totally.
It sounds like an idea that would have happened in the 90s, but it's also very new. And so, like, I don't know. I love that kind of
It's
mixture.
got a lot of like. I don't want to give anything away, but for me, if I was going to give the piece here, it'd be Child's Play.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which is
for
awesome,
sure.
bro, because it's Chucky. I mean, and it's like the original Child's Play. It's the first one with Bradley Dorff and like the old school, like scariness. That
There
you're
you
into
go.
it. And you're not the same thing where it's like, oh yeah, the doll and this. You're like, oh wait, man, this is gonna get freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna get crazy.
Well, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, very freaky, supernatural horror. Very violent. It's. I think it's gonna be a fun time. Start filming the first week of February. We're gonna do sort of a crowdfunding campaign for it, starting a couple months before then, and you can get more updates by checking out Kevin's website, kevinlmartin.com.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there'll be a link in the show notes for that as
Yeah.
well. So, right on. Well, let's get to your individual plugs. Ernie, go first.
Actually, we just worked on a vertical film.
So we got multiple connections. I did not know that. Wow.
I don't know if I don't need to plug this vertical film, whatever. But I just want to plug Jane Doe, and then the thing that I just did that's on real short is I'm Done Being a Yes Man. And the other one I don't know the name of. They changed it, so it's a funky name on Good Short. But
Indie filmmaking.
indie filmmaking. Man.
The best.
How about you, Celine?
So I mean, if you want to follow me on social media, on my Instagram, it's Celine 0CH0A. It's just Celine Ochoa. I will have some exciting projects coming up that we're starting to crowdfund a little bit for. One of them called Inner Monster by my lovely friend Kiara Lee, and then I have another one kind of in production. We just shot one scene, so Candy, just if you want to go and donate and help out, they'll be attached to my profile.
Awesome. And how about you?
The big project is Jane Doe, but I'm also going to be in a couple other things, including a sort of webcam thriller, kind of in the style of like Searching or Unfriended or those types of movies.
Sure.
Which I'm also really excited about. I'm also going to be in a comedy that I don't know if I can talk about, so I'm just going to say that I'm going to be in a comedy soon. And yeah, you can follow me for more updates, I guess, on all my social medias, which will be in the description. I don't usually post on social media to promote myself. I mostly like shit post if I'm ever gonna tweet.
Yeah.
Also, you shouldn't use Twitter if you value
really
your
shouldn't.
mental health. So
Right.
maybe I'll start promoting myself more on TikTok. We'll see. But I do have a TikTok, so
Right on.
Yeah.
We'll get some links in the show notes for all that. We will be doing another live Piecing It Together at the end of the month, Friday, August 29th on The Toxic Avenger. So excited for that. It's at Downtown Cinemas. And then we'll be back here at Maya Cinemas on Thursday, September 18th. Haven't announced it yet, but I'll tell you guys, for A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, that new one with Margot Robbie and Colin Farrell. So that's going to be interesting to do something that's not horror or superhero for a change. So very excited for that. So that's what we got coming up next, and that's our show for tonight. Thanks, everybody.
I do want to give you a big shout out. Thank you, Dave, for hosting the show
thanks,
and
buddy.
for promoting us to come out to the movies, because
Yeah.
without you, a lot of people wouldn't go out to the movies. So yeah, thank you.
For
That's
sure.
my number one goal.
Keeping theaters alive.
Absolutely.
Come on. Hi, this is Wax Trax Records here on 2909 South Decatur. We buy all your old 45s, your old albums, any type of music memorabilia. Also, we sell music memorabilia, albums, CDs, and a lot. Come on down to Wax Trax, 2909 South Decatur, or give me a call at 702-362-4300. Thank you very much.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed that conversation about weapons. Thanks again to Celine Ochoa, Ernie Curcio, and William Messenger for joining me on that one. Thank you to Maya Cinemas for having us out. Thank you to everyone who showed up to the show. If you want to keep seeing us do these live shows, make sure you come out to the movie theater. That's what we are trying to do, get people out to the movie theater. We had a nice little turnout for this one. We got another show coming up on Friday, August 29th. That one's at Downtown Cinemas on The Toxic Avenger. You can win tickets right now if you're listening to this episode when it comes out. So enter to win some tickets. We'll see you there at Downtown Cinemas. And then we'll be back at Maya Cinemas next month for A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey. I'll be announcing that show very soon, but I'm basically announcing it right now. But save the date. It's going to be on September 18th. And more live shows coming up after that. So make sure to come out to the movie theater. Come watch a movie with us, and you can yell out some puzzle pieces, win some prizes, the whole thing. It's so much fun doing these shows. So hopefully we'll see you out sometime soon. But you can find out about all those shows if you make sure you are subscribed to Piecing It Together wherever you're listening right now. Also follow us on social media at Piecing Pod. Join the Facebook group Popcorn and Puzzle Pieces, where we continue the conversation about all the movies we talk about here on the show. And don't forget, we do have a Patreon, the Produced by David Rosen Patreon, where I post bonus and advanced content from Piecing It Together, Awesome Movie Year, and my music career. One of these days, I'm going to get some new music up there. I have it ready to go. I just got to actually go do it. But first, I got to get the video version of this episode up, and I got some other episodes that are already recorded that I'll put up there early. Lots of stuff to put up there, but sign up because there's already lots of stuff on the Patreon, and there'll be even more stuff hitting there very soon. It's patreon.com/bydavidrosen. But with that said, let's close this out with a piece of music like I always do. Let's see, what should I play today? Got to play something dark and messed up and weird, and I'm sure I got lots of that. You know what? I don't know why, but I just feel like going with something that you wouldn't have heard before, even if you've listened to every episode of this show, because it's not out yet. It is a song from my next David Rosen album, which I've talked about this before, but it has been on hold for like the longest time. It's absolutely ridiculous, but I keep doing more pup stuff instead of finishing up this album. But I'm going to finish this album this year. I don't know if it'll be out at the end of this year or the beginning of next year, but my next full-length album is coming very soon, along with a bunch of music videos, and it's going to be a whole production. I'm very excited about this album, and when I do finally put it out, I'm going to put it out right and really put a lot into the promotion of it. But I'm going to give you a little preview of that. This is a track called Bullet in the Head, and I think it's the right kind of dark and weird and crazy to go along with weapons. So hope you enjoy Bullet in the Head. And it's from the next David Rosen album, which will get announced at some point later this year. But enjoy it. We'll be back with more Piecing It Together real soon.
an All Points West production, produced by David Rosen in Las Vegas.